There comes a moment, quiet but unmistakable, when you look around at your life, the routines, the struggles, the silent compromises, and a question surfaces, like a whisper from somewhere deeper than thought. What if I've had it backwards all along? That's not the beginning of madness. That's the beginning of awakening. From the moment we're born, we're handed a script. Be realistic, work hard, fit in, be grateful for what you get. And beneath those words, a more subtle message we absorb like smoke. You are not in control. Life happens to you. That message is so deeply embedded in our culture that we rarely question it. We build lives based on reaction, on survival, on navigating what already exists, rather than daring to believe we can create. But what if that entire paradigm, this deeply ingrained perception that we're at the mercy of circumstances, is not just wrong, but the very reason we feel so stuck? The truth is, you are not powerless. You never were. You've simply been trained to ignore the mechanisms of your own influence, your own energetic signature, and the subtle but real feedback loop between your inner world and the outer one. This isn't some whimsical fantasy or New Age delusion. It's a rediscovery of what the ancients hinted at and what quantum thought now echoes, that reality is more participatory than passive, more malleable than fixed, and most crucially, it begins not out there in the world, but within the landscape of your belief, your expectation, your vibration. Consider this. Every invention that exists today, the airplane, the smartphone, even the home you're sitting in, once existed only in the mind of someone who dared to see it before it existed. It began as a thought, an image, a feeling of possibility. What separated those who created from those who did not was not luck, not birthright, but belief, an unshakable inner picture paired with the willingness to move as if it were already real. You have this power too, but first you must confront the quiet lies you've been living under. The belief that you're not enough, the fear that dreaming big is irresponsible, the conditioning that tells you manifestation is just wishful thinking. Ask yourself this. Where in your life are you still chasing something you don't believe you deserve? Your energy doesn't lie. Your internal state, your sense of worth, your subconscious expectations, your emotional set point transmits a constant signal into the field around you. And that field, that canvas we call reality, responds not to what you say you want, but to what you actually believe you're allowed to receive. This is not meant to shame you. It's meant to liberate you. Because if you created a life out of unconscious beliefs, imagine what you could create with conscious intention. The doorway is open now. What you do next is no longer about learning more. It's about unlearning the distortions that kept you small. So pause, breathe, feel. Can you sense it? That quiet stirring inside you, the one that says, maybe, just maybe, I've been more powerful than I realized this entire time. That's not fantasy, that's the sound of your soul remembering, and it's only the beginning. Everything around you, this page, the chair beneath you, the air in the room, is energy. Not metaphorically, literally. What appears solid is, at its most fundamental level, mostly empty space. Beneath the surface of all matter lies a field of vibrating particles, dancing to frequencies far too fast and too subtle for the naked eye. And yet that invisible field is where everything begins. Quantum physics calls it the quantum field, a sea of potential, where everything that could be already exists as a probability, waiting to be observed, chosen, collapsed into form. Does that sound mysterious? It should. But don't let the mystery scare you. Let it awaken you. Because what scientists have begun to discover through quantum mechanics, spiritual traditions have whispered for centuries, that thought, intention, and emotion are not separate from reality, but part of the very blueprint from which reality is woven. You are not outside this field, looking in. You are this field. You are the observer and the observed, the signal and the receiver, the artist and the canvas. Now, let's make this real. Imagine you're tuning a radio. You can only hear the station your dial is set to. It doesn't mean other frequencies don't exist, they're all around you. But unless you match their frequency, you won't hear their song. Life works the same way. The emotions you carry, the expectations you hold, the stories you replay in your head, they all set your internal dial. They determine the version of reality you tune into. This is not theory, you felt it. Think about a day when everything seemed to flow. Coincidences aligned, people showed up at the right time. You felt seen, supported, even magical. And now think of a day when nothing went right, when everything seemed to resist you. What changed? The outer world, or the inner frequency you were broadcasting? The field responds to your signal, not your words, not your wishes, but the truth of your vibration. So when you're operating from fear, lack, or self-doubt, you're tuning into experiences that mirror that back to you. Not as punishment, as feedback, as a mirror. And here lies the grace in all of it. You can change the station. You can become aware of what you're projecting and shift it, not through force, but through alignment. What does that look like? It begins with radical honesty, noticing the quiet fear behind your desires, seeing where you've been chasing instead of inviting, where you've been trying to force instead of magnetize. Because manifestation doesn't begin with action. It begins with being. Here's a truth that might stir something in you. The life you want already exists. It's not a future destination. It's a frequency waiting to be embodied. And your thoughts, when paired with elevated emotion and unwavering belief, act like a bridge between potential and reality. So consider this. Where are you still believing that you need to earn, hustle, or prove your way into a better life? That belief is a low frequency. It keeps you dancing around your dreams instead of stepping into them. Quantum energy doesn't wait for credentials. It responds to coherence. When your inner world becomes congruent, when your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs align, you become magnetic. You begin attracting people, opportunities, and outcomes that seem almost surreal. But they're not surreal. They are the natural result of becoming energetically available to what you once thought was out of reach. The invisible fabric of reality is not something you need to conquer. It's something you need to remember how to dance with. And it starts by trusting that you are already entangled in a vast, intelligent field that hears not your words, but your frequency. So what signal are you broadcasting right now? And more importantly, what new station are you ready to tune into? Close your eyes for a moment, not to escape the world, but to enter the real one, the inner one, the place where all things begin. See it now, a life that feels aligned, a version of you who walks with quiet confidence, a reality where peace isn't something you chase, it's something you live. That image, that feeling, it isn't just fantasy, it's the blueprint, and it's more powerful than you know. We've been taught that seeing is believing. But in the world of energy and manifestation, it's the opposite. Believing is seeing. Visualization is the art of seeing with the mind's eye, of pre-living the life you desire so vividly and consistently that your brain begins to wire it as reality. Science confirms this. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, doesn't require physical action. Just imagining a movement or scenario activates the same neural circuits as doing it. Olympians train this way. Visionaries live this way. And yet most of us are using this sacred tool in reverse, rehearsing fear, visualizing worst-case scenarios, repeating old failures in our heads like broken records. Every image you hold in your mind is a command. Every emotion you pair with it is an electrical current, charging that command with voltage. Your subconscious does not know the difference between reality and vividly imagined experience. It simply obeys the signals. So when you sit quietly and see yourself stepping on stage, shaking that investor's hand, holding the keys to your new home, it's not make-believe. It's programming. You are shifting your internal landscape, planting seeds in the fertile soil of the quantum field. And those seeds, when watered with belief and consistency, bear fruit. But let's go deeper, because this is not just about picturing things. It's about becoming the version of you who already has them. It's about feeling into the reality as if it were already true. That's what flips the switch. That's what makes your visualization magnetic instead of wishful. Most people make a crucial mistake here. They visualize from a place of lack. I want this because I don't have it. But that vibration only reinforces the absence. True visualization is not begging the universe for more. It's remembering what's already yours. It's standing in the frequency of wholeness and letting reality catch up. Ask yourself, when was the last time you allowed yourself to truly feel the joy of your dream as if it had already happened? Not waiting for proof, not needing permission, just feeling it, smiling into it, living it. That's the practice, and it's not passive, it's powerful. Every time you see your future clearly, you chip away at the walls of disbelief. Every time you step into the feeling, you magnetize new pathways, people, and possibilities to support it. So don't underestimate the moments you spend daydreaming with intention. Don't dismiss your morning rituals of seeing your life as you choose it to be. Those moments are not fluff. They are recalibrations. They are acts of quiet rebellion against the noise of the world that says you must wait, shrink, or suffer. Let your vision be a sanctuary you return to. Let it be more than pretty pictures. Let it become a home for your nervous system, a place where you are already enough, already chosen, already free. And if doubt creeps in, and it will, just return. Not with force, but with love. Return to the image, return to the feeling. Return to the truth that this universe is not limited and neither are you. Because here's the secret. Your future isn't somewhere ahead of you, waiting. It's already inside you, waiting to be let out. So ask yourself now, if I truly believed it was already mine, how would I walk, breathe, and show up today? Everything in the universe is vibration. This isn't just poetic language, it's the underlying rhythm of existence. From the vastness of galaxies to the beat of your own heart, energy moves in waves and frequencies. You are not an observer of this symphony. You are an instrument within it. And the tune you emit, your emotional, mental, and energetic frequency, determines the harmony you attract. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. This truth is at once liberating and sobering. Because if you've been waiting for your circumstances to change so that you can finally feel abundant, loved, or free, you've been looking through the wrong end of the telescope. The outer world doesn't shift first. The inner world does. Desire alone is not enough. You can want health, love, purpose, but if you're vibrating with resentment, fear, or inadequacy, the signal you're sending into the field is mixed, and the universe is precise. It delivers not to your wishes, but to your frequency match. This is not punishment. This is precision. This is the intelligence of quantum resonance. What you are being, moment to moment, becomes the tuning fork for your experience. So how do you shift it? You start by becoming radically responsible for your inner state. Not perfect, not relentlessly positive, but aligned. Emotions are not enemies, they are messengers. When you feel fear, it is not something to suppress. It is something to decode. What belief is fueling this fear? What story are you carrying that says you are unsafe, unworthy, unready? Awareness is step one. Without awareness, there is no transformation. Then comes the practice, the deliberate raising of your emotional and energetic frequency. This is the inner work that creates outer miracles. Gratitude, not just as a concept, but as a felt sense. Joy, not reserved for after success, but practiced daily in small, sacred moments. Forgiveness, not as a favor to others, but as freedom for yourself. These are not just spiritual virtues, they are frequency shifts. They move you closer to the version of you who already lives your dream. And once you begin to embody that version, not in fantasy, but in felt alignment, you become magnetic to the reality that matches it. Think of the people who walk into a room and light it up. It's not their clothes. It's their coherence, their alignment. They're not seeking approval. They're not proving anything. They know who they are. And the universe responds. You have this ability, but it starts inside. Ask yourself now, what would it feel like to become the kind of person who effortlessly receives what I desire? Not just imagine the result, but inhabit the identity. Identity is frequency. If you see yourself as someone who always struggles, who never quite makes it, who's always almost there but not quite, then that's the reality your field will orchestrate, not out of cruelty, but out of consistency. But shift the identity, even slightly, and the whole signal changes. Start to feel like someone who trusts life, who expects alignment, who knows their worth, even before the evidence. Especially before the evidence. That's how energy bends reality. So many of us wait for the external world to validate our internal hopes. But in this quantum game, the sequence is reversed. Be it first, and then life mirrors it back. Start small. You don't have to fake joy, but you can cultivate it. You don't have to pretend to be fearless, but you can breathe through fear and act anyway. Every moment is a choice. Do I reinforce the old frequency or step into the new one? Over time, these choices compound. They become a new baseline. And one day you wake up and realize you're no longer trying to manifest your dream. You're living it because you finally became the person who could hold it. Let that sink in. What version of you does your dream life require? Now comes the most powerful shift of all. The moment you stop waiting for the future and begin living as if it's already here. This is not about delusion. It's about embodiment, about stepping into the energy of the fulfilled version of yourself. Not someday, but now. When you walk as if it's already done, you move differently, you speak differently, you make choices from a higher place, not out of desperation, but out of alignment. Because when you truly believe the dream is already yours, you no longer chase it, you align with it. Most people are unconsciously postponing their joy. I'll feel abundant once I have more money. I'll feel confident once I lose the weight. I'll feel worthy once they love me back. But this mindset keeps your desires in a constant state of becoming, always just out of reach. The quantum field doesn't work like a reward system. It responds to who you are being right now. So if you can become the future version of yourself today, not by pretending, but by choosing, you collapse the distance between here and there. You start to embody the reality before it arrives, and that is what calls it in faster. Think of an actor preparing for a role. They don't just read the lines, they become the character. They inhabit their posture, their thoughts, their emotions. The more they believe in the role, the more convincing they are, and the more real the story becomes. Your life works the same way. You're not waiting for permission to be your future self. You're remembering that you already are. The evidence may not be in your bank account yet. The relationship may not have appeared. The business may not be fully built. But the energy, the frequency, that's available now. So start walking like it. Start speaking like it. Start choosing like the version of you who already knows how the story ends. And it ends well. When you embody certainty, life rearranges around your signal. Let's ground this with truth. Life will still test you. There will be moments of doubt, of discomfort, of delay. But embodiment isn't about avoiding those moments. It's about not collapsing into them. You'll notice your old identity trying to pull you back. Who are you to dream this big? This isn't realistic. You failed before. But those voices are echoes, not truth. You're not that version anymore, and you're no longer available for that vibration. This is the moment where courage is born, not the loud kind, but the quiet kind. The kind that wakes up every day and chooses to trust the unseen. The kind that acts before there's proof. The kind that walks not by sight, but by alignment. Because manifestation is not about making things happen. It's about allowing what's already aligned to flow into form. You're not here to control the how. You're here to become the who. And when that happens, the rest unfolds in ways your logic could never predict. So ask yourself this now, in full honesty. If I knew the outcome was guaranteed, how would I live today? And then do that. Not once, but again and again, until it becomes your new normal. Until the energy of your dream becomes so familiar, so embodied, that the external world has no choice but to reflect it back. You are not waiting for the future. You are the future, arriving. You've always had the power. Not because someone gave it to you, but because it's your birthright. This isn't about magic. It's about memory. Remembering that the reality you crave isn't waiting for you at some distant finish line. It's inside you now, encoded in your frequency, calling you to rise. Visualization, quantum energy, embodiment, they are not tricks. They are invitations. To feel more, to believe deeper, to live with greater intention. To stop performing for a world that told you to shrink and start vibrating with the truth that you are a creator, not a bystander. So let this be your reminder. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. And when you align with the feeling of already having it, when you live, move, and choose as if it's done, you collapse time. You call in miracles. You rewrite your story. Thank you for joining me on this journey of awakening and remembering. If something in these words stirred you, if a part of you recognized the truth behind the noise, then don't let this be the end. Reflect, act, align. And if you feel called, share your experience in the comments and subscribe for more soul-shifting content. The universe is listening.